Hey guys, Chris here from Carolot Farm. I have some rather unfortunate news. We had a groundhog in the garden yesterday afternoon. Right as I was preparing to leave the house, right? That's always how it is. I was getting ready to literally walk out the door. I took one more peek at my horses out the back door, and what did I see in the garden? Well, actually, he wasn't little. I saw something brown and fuzzy that was moving around, and so I came out to the garden. And there was a big, fat groundhog. This groundhog, when he saw me and I started making all sorts of racket and, shooing at him, he kept running into the fence trying to get out, and he was so big and so fat, he could not get under our garden fence. I mean, he struggled all the way around the garden until he finally found a low spot. And so this morning, I finally have time to get out into the garden and to really inspect the damage. And I'm going to show you because he definitely came around and took a little nibble here and a little nibble there, and I'm pretty discouraged. My okra plants are looking fine. They're getting pretty tall. I don't see where the groundhog has bothered them. We've known, groundhogs to sometimes get up on their back feet and pull branches down. They do that notoriously with sunflowers. But so far my okra looks fine. So let's keep hunting though for more signs of the groundhog. As I go about my morning inspection and picking, I am finding signs here, there, and everywhere of the groundhog. So we see here, he took a few nibbles out of our squash. Not cool. After looking closely through my squash here, I have, about a dozen squash plants still. I only see where the groundhog nibbled on this first plant, right here by the pathway. This one is the most open, and so he definitely stopped and ate here, but the rest of the plants look good. So today I want to pick everything, big, small, whatever I can find, and then try to salvage that. My peppers are looking fine. My eggplants over here are looking fine, but I believe I may have seen more signs over in the pumpkin patch, so let's head over there now. I also see where the groundhog has nipped a few of my winter squash leaves here, so I have to keep an eye on those as well. My green beans that I covered look fine. Again, last year the groundhog came in and picked every leaf off my beans, so these look good. Even the beans here that I have uncovered, these were the original beans. They were not nipped yesterday. I suspect I probably ran the groundhog out though before he found them. Thank goodness. The cucumbers seem fine. I've never known the groundhog to really mess with them, but again, I'm just inspecting everything for signs of the groundhog. We have heard that groundhogs love sweet potatoes, and luckily, the groundhog did not seem to be feasting on our patch here, so that's a really good sign. Again, I probably just scared him off. If he had been in here all night long, he could certainly have done some real damage. As I was over here this morning picking a cucumber or two, I took a peek at my pumpkins. That's what these are, pumpkins. I don't know if you can tell, but right here is where the groundhog was trying to dig out at one point. Again, I startled him and he was darting all over the garden and trying to get out. So he tried doing a little dig here, and then he kind of ran back across the garden and ultimately exited the far side of the garden. But I see close to this area that he did nibble on one of my small little pumpkins. So let me show you that now. Here is that spot where I told you the groundhog was trying to dig out beside the pumpkins. And just beyond that, let me move a leaf or two for us here. You can see where he was nibbling on a little white pumpkin. So another casualty here in the garden. As I was chasing the groundhog and trying to shoo him out, I saw him run through the tall grass here, and he ultimately exited under the fence and crossed over towards the woods. So I'm gonna go on the outside of the fence though and see if I can't see a significant low spot and see if I can show you that. This is that back side of the garden I told you I saw the groundhog exit from. So I really want to get up close and do some inspecting. As I check this back fence line, I don't see any signs of digging. And so he must have just squeezed out under a little bit of a gap that we have. So it's just so frustrating when you have these little critters. You know, come on, there's so much more stuff for them to go off and eat. Leave my garden alone. Along our back fence line here, this is the lowest part of the garden. We did put a new wire fence up this spring, so it's a good sturdy fence. I mean, there are some little teeny gaps at the bottom, you know, a couple of inches. And I'm guessing that must have been where the groundhog kind of got real down low and kind of shimmied underneath, because I definitely saw him in all the tall grasses here. And then I saw him kind of run diagonally across this back horse field of ours. So I'm sure this is where he exited. I'm not sure if that's where he entered, but you know, this fence here is like a 4-foot tall horse fence. So he didn't go up and over this fence. Some of our other fencing, though, let me show you. I have known the groundhog to go over that fence, not always under it. So with this short section of fencing here, I have seen my cats do this, and I suspect the groundhog as well. They go up underneath the deer netting and then climb over that short section of wire. So until we have that taller fencing all the way around the perimeter, that's still a possibility for how they might get in or out. But I think when they're in a hurry, they really want to go quick and go under. And so trying to close off those low spots is something that we'll probably want to do. We have also, though, let me show you one more trick we have. We've also used liquid fence a fair amount here in the garden and just on our various, you know, plants and flowers and such. So not only did we spray everything yesterday afternoon really well, again, I had to leave the farm when I saw the groundhog, and so I texted my husband and I said, when you get home, you know, please spray everything. And what I'm doing today is I'm going to come back with my liquid fence and I'm going to spray the perimeter down low where I suspect that groundhog was trying to go under the fence, and hopefully that will deter them. We also, you can see this white electric rope here. You know, that's to keep the horses from pushing, but we could also try putting one down lower, more like at the ground level line. So that is something else that we have not yet done that we could try. But once those little critters start getting in and feasting, it can be really hard to deter them long term. So wish us luck. We'll keep you posted. And right now, this is my best bet. I'll attach the clip of the groundhog exiting the garden yesterday, but I did definitely see him exit here, and he ran across this little field behind me into the woods. So most likely that is the way he is entering and exiting on the regular, if this is a regular occurrence. Hope it's not, but if it is, or if it becomes one, you know, we'll have to continue to try to remedy that. So, but I just want to show you that because I think trying to figure out where they're getting in, where they're getting out, hopefully can help us and hopefully can help you figure out how best to deter them in the future. You know, I think some people have other tricks, and I've heard of other like scented balls, or, you know, we have some that are peppermint and some other, you know, scent, and then somebody else was mentioning something different. I mean, there are lots of natural home remedies you can try. So I don't know, sometimes it's a bit of a losing battle, but the garden has been so good to us so far this summer that we want to do everything we can to protect it. You know, having a garden means you're constantly going to be battling something, right? Either it's the weather and the elements, or it's the insects or rodents. You know, there's always something that seems to be impeding our ability to have that wonderfully happy garden. So, you know, it's a constant thing, but it's fun, and we're always learning and kind of trying new things. Another thing I find a little disheartening about this whole groundhog situation is I have this outdoor compost, and it's filled with like fresh produce every day. So can't he just come and get fatter on this? Why does he have to eat what's still growing in the garden, right? I mean, come on, do me a favor. Here's a look at the damaged produce from our groundhog. So this, along with the winter squash nibbles, seem to be the only thing that I have detected as of today. So as you can see, I mean, the groundhog did nibble a little here, he nibbled a little there. I mean, he was definitely running all around the garden by the time I saw him and he saw me. So again, it happens. It's part of gardening. And so if it's not one thing, it's another. But I'll keep you posted on how that liquid fence works and what else we do to try to limit access, under that garden fence. But yeah, thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this because, I guess you kind of just have to find it comical. What else can you do, right? So have a great rest of your day. Good luck with your garden, and hopefully you don't have a groundhog that is after yours like I seem to have after mine. So hope to see you soon. Bye, guys. I know not everyone might get a kick out of this, but I actually went into the garden initially to chase the groundhog out. And when he turned the corner and started coming towards me, I ran outside of the garden, and that's when this next clip starts. Get the frick out of my garden! It is such a big groundhog. I don't know where he got in, but he seems to be having trouble getting out. I'm not happy about this groundhog. I'm not sure where he is right now. Oh, I see some movement. He's over there in the tall grasses. You can see the grass is moving a bit. Yeah, I'm sorry, but groundhogs are not allowed in the garden. There he goes, that little sucker. You better not come back tomorrow.